Hiya and welcome to the Redmen TV. It is a brand new show on our YouTube channel. It is the Rumour Rater Show. I'm Chloe Boxham, if you haven't seen me before. And I don't know if you know who I am, but I absolutely despise rumours. I hate transfer windows for the main part of the fact that people just make up a load of crap to get clicks and views. So what I've decided to do is go through all of the possible rumours that Liverpool are being linked with, the players in and out. And we together are going to rate how we see those links. They might be absolutely ridiculous. It might be another version of Mbappe 2020, where we just have to say absolutely not a chance. Or it actually might be a link that throughout the summer progresses and goes from maybe an unlikely, or I could see it, to absolutely nailed on. This show is going to happen every single Wednesday. Before we do get in it, I've got a couple of rumours from the past week or so. Bear in mind the transfer window doesn't open until next Friday. I'm pretty sure it's the 14th, I know that much. It starts the day the Euros start. So maybe then more and more news will ramp up. But today I've selected quite a few for us. We're going to chat amongst ourselves, look at the stats, look at who it came from, which is extremely important. Because we all know that when it gets a little bit quiet around here in the summer, people do need clicks. And we're here to basically shoot down absolutely any pieces of crap. However, there have been times in the last couple of transfer windows where Liverpool players, people have stated that we're not going to sign a player, and then we've ended up signing them. So something might end up in no chance, but then in 2 days later, you never know, it could be nailed on. Anyway, before we do get into the first player, I'll tell you how it goes in a minute, but do get in the comments and tell me what Liverpool's priority position signing should be, and then I'll get into a little bit of who I think it should be. Exploring the world of gaming says, hi Chloe, how are you? I'm Boss, how are you, mate? It is a Wednesday afternoon, I'm feeling good. I can't wait for the Euros to start. I am very, very bored. We've got, hi Chloe, hope you're well. I am sound as always. Won't see any movement until after the Euros. It's a very good shout actually. But don't worry. There's still enough rumours out there for us to absolutely wipe the floor with some of these people. We will probably be watching players at the tournament. Yeah, that is also true. Although, isn't it mad how Arne Slot's not even spoken to the likes of Andy Robbo? Absolutely strange. Afternoon, Chloe says, JD. Afternoon to you. This outfit was from JD as well. It's not a plug. You're not JD, but there you go. We've got official Cam LFC saying CDM or striker. Striker is interesting there, like an out-and-out number 9. If in that case, are you selling Darwin Núñez? Anyway, we'll have a look at some of the potential forwards coming up. I'd be keen to know who Chloe would get if we needed a backup goalkeeper. That is the question. We might see Kelleher on this board in a little bit, but basically, I'm going to mention what we have here. We have nailed on, which is very self-explanatory, isn't it? That means that the deal is most defo going to happen. We've then got looks likely. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. These situations may vary throughout the transfer window, but what I'm saying is, if it's the Liverpool journos who are linking us with it, I'm likely going to put it in here because I trust them the most. Could see it is my personal opinion. It's a lot of this is whether I also like the player. If the player is absolutely crap, I'm putting him in no chance whether or not he's got a chance because I don't want him. We've also got unlikely and then absolutely no chance. So Mbappe would have gone in there in 2020, but people somehow believe that he could. He'd be in there. Oh, nailed on's had an absolute nightmare up here. Also, this colour, it's okay. No one's nailed on anyway right now, so actually that's correct. That's correct. Anyway, we've got a couple of players to get into, and I think we're going to go through, and I'm going to have a look at what we look like. I love Chloe saying they're my best for the men team. Thank you so much. There will be more Redmen teams going on about things in the near future. We've got another podcast coming out Friday, so do make sure you look at that. Oh, You'll Never Walk Alone 691 says I'd be probably go for another left back. Costas couldn't even get a game when Robbo was injured. To be fair, he did get a game and then got injured himself. but I get what you're saying. He is in his peak years, so he might also want to leave. But speaking of, you know, a back four, which it's not a left back, but we're going to go with it anyway. I will fix nails on, but I'm not going to lie to you. I don't think no one's going in here until it's like 2 days before they're going to sign. But we are going to start with Gonçalo Inacio. I enjoyed my pronunciation there. I don't know about you, but I certainly did. And you'll see how this works as we go through it. I'm not going to lie, nails on just might not be ever getting fixed. Yeah, it's having a bit of a nightmare. We'll sort that in a bit. Anyway, Gonçalo Inacio, obviously a left-footed centre-half from Sporting. If you were here last summer, you'll know that he was heavily linked to the Reds, still is 24 months later, and Fabrizio Romano in the last 24 hours has came out and said, when the tweet comes up, Manchester United and Liverpool have both been monitoring Gonçalo Inacio ahead of the summer transfer window. His release clause is worth €60 million. Man United are still discussing internally how many centre-backs they want to bring in. For sure, at least one right-footed. Well, he's not right-footed, lads. But what I will say on the fact is that he might be Liverpool's best option in terms of, I think he's the most, he's got the most experience for me. There's a couple of other lads who I don't want to mention just yet because they might be in the pile, but he seems like the most mature of them. And also, you know, he is a decent centre-half. We've seen it for Sporting. He's been heavily linked with Liverpool for the past 24 months. Yeah, no, 12 months. Where am I off to? Not 24 months. 12 months he has been. And he is a really decent player. Left-footed. Liverpool do not have a left-footed centre-half, which is absolutely ludicrous. I love a left-footed centre-half. I feel like every team should have a left-footed centre-half in there. But the best thing about Gonçalo Inacio is because he is left-footed, he can play left-back. And that is really what I'm looking forward to. Some of you said in their CDMs, strikers, I'd be looking at a centre-half who's left-footed, who also can play left-back. And clearly, Liverpool also are as well. But yeah, he is a really good choice. Whether you think he is or not, a different thing though, because €60 million, that'd explain it, everyone. That right there. That would explain it. Blame everyone else who made this set. Nailed on. We're not having nailed on. Nailed on's gone. Nailed on's not a thing anymore. We will pick that up in a bit. But Gonçalo Inacio, I am going to put in. I'm not going to lie to you. I half want to put it in the middle of both unlikely and no chance, but I don't. I feel like that's a cop-out, isn't it? I'm going to put it in no chance. And hear me out. Hear me out. He's obviously done a little bit of a DM this season, which is absolutely mad. He's played in the Europa League, I want to say it was as well. He's played quite a couple of games. He's made 7 appearances for the national team as well. But there's just something about Gonçalo Inacio that I don't see Liverpool paying 60 million for a left-footed centre-half because Virgil van Dijk's never going to be replaced in the next 2-3 years. You've then got Crysencio, who for me could move to that left-hand side and do that role. And I just think 60 mil right now, Liverpool are going to try and find maybe a little bit of an easier route to do it. I think Liverpool would spend around 30 to 40 mil for a centre-half. And even then, I'm really surprised they're not after the likes of Lloyd Kelly, who looks to be going to Newcastle. You can get in there who you think, what you think on Inacio. Do you think I should move him? I'll show you exactly why I believe that I should not be moving him. And that is because David Lynch for This Is Anfield has said Liverpool are not targeting Gonçalo Inacio, despite monitoring claim. Liverpool are not considering a move for the Sporting CP centre-back. Reports emerged earlier this week that the Reds and Man United have both been monitoring the 22-year-old. 22-year-old is, to be fair, 60 mil for a 22-year-old. He's got many years to play, doesn't he? But with a move coming in the summer, to either of those teams. This is Anfield understands that Inacio does not feature on Liverpool's list of potential targets at centre-half. Instead, the latest links are thought to be an attempt to generate interest in a player who has long been touted as Premier League bound. And that is the thing. Sadly, because we've all been monitoring him for the last 12 months, is Rise Sport and hold all the cards here. And once again, I just don't... He's 22, so you're going to have to pay a decent amount for him. He's Sporting centre-half. They're a decent side with a decent manager. Maybe if Vita came our way, who knows? And obviously he can do that left-back role. He played left mid this season, which is ridiculous. But what is actually really good from, I guess if you were trying to buy the lad, is that he doesn't have many injuries. He played 46 games this season, and that is at centre-half. He scored 4 goals, got 1 assist, but most importantly, he got suspension due to a yellow card, and then was only out with a thigh problem for 1 game. Aside from that, look at these stats here. He's played a lot of minutes. In total, he also was on the bench for, that was Portugal, so really, who's bothered? We've got another thigh problem, but that is really it. He's played 3,734 minutes. That is an absolute joke. Running players into the ground, my God, look at that. But yeah, for me, I think there's other options that Liverpool might be looking at more. And also, I'm so sorry, but it's Man United. Man United will probably just whack 70 million down on the table for him, offer him 200 grand a week, because that's what they do. And Liverpool wouldn't stand a chance anyway. But for right now, I'm going to go with David Lynch on this one. You can get your thoughts in. Would you like Gonçalo Inacio? I like him. I really do. I just don't see it as a Liverpool buy. And that's what I'm basing it on here. Do I think he's possibly the best option? Yeah, I think he's really good on the ball. He's good defensively as well. He's got a really good balance. But ultimately for me, I just think the 60 million euros is a little bit too high. And if you're fending off options from the likes of Manchester United, who can just offer them more money, that's a problem. But most importantly, apparently Liverpool have just stated that they are not interested in the lad. And whoever's trying to, sprout these rumours to get him a move, they're doing all right because we're talking about it. But who really knows? He has a release clause though now, yeah, but it's 60 mil euros, that is like. But that is still his release clause. United will destroy him. They destroy everyone. Jadon Sancho, just go and ask him. Price is crazy, mind if true. Exactly. And this is what I mean. Like, Lloyd Kelly just seemed like an obvious option for Liverpool, like not to be cheap, but it seemed like an obvious option. 60 million euros does not seem like an obvious option. But, here we are. I'm putting this could move. Next week, it might turn out that we're actually really interested in him. Until then, though, we're going to move on. Nailed on is still not coming back to the board because I can't be bothered going to get him. Anyway, now this one we mentioned earlier, and I'm going to bring it up because it's quite an important one for Liverpool to sort out, and that is Kelleher. Here we are again. Now, we've got a first team member. I can see Inacio going to United and ends up shite. I agree, very much so. I like how you think. And if that happened, I wouldn't be against it. Although, as of like Jadon Sancho, and I think under Klopp and then partially Slot, he could have been really, really good. But, who knows what happens there. Anyway, on to Kelleher. Now, here's a massive problem for Liverpool. He made some comments in the past week saying that, being second choice at Liverpool is good, but his ultimate ambition is being a number one somewhere. And I would hate to see him go because I really, really like Kelleher. However, he deserves to go. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to put it look slightly, mainly because my nailed on's somewhere else. And actually, who knows what happens in pre-season, but I would imagine that Kelleher leaves this summer. We owe it to him to be number one somewhere else. He could go to another Premier League side and be number one easily. Yes, there's a lot of chat around the fact that he's not played an actual full season. And he had that little spell, especially towards last season, where he was a bit crap, I won't lie. However, the more games he's got on a consistent basis this season, he has been unbelievable. He's stepped up. Liverpool, at the time that Kelleher had to come in, were in a title race, and he kept us in that title race until Liverpool ultimately collapsed. Would you take Pepe Reina as third choice? Well, Adrian has been offered a new contract today. I don't know whether you know that. So are you putting Adrian as second choice then? What happens there? I would keep Adrian as third choice, just because of what he does off the pitch, I think, more than anything. But truthfully, I think we need to replace Kelleher, and I think it has to be a decent standard footballer. The problem is, I don't think you're going to get a better number two than Kelleher. So whoever's coming in for me is going to be a downgrade on Kelleher. However, you know, you can't begrudge the lad, and that ultimately is it. What I will say is, though, Liverpool aren't backing down from this. This is Anfield, and David Lynch once again reports that Liverpool have set a lofty Kelleher price tag. Obviously, the goalkeeper is open to transferring. Liverpool are prepared to demand a fee in excess of 20 million to let him go this summer, and I don't understand the people who think that is too high of a valuation. I'd be looking 25 to 30 mil. I genuinely think he is the best. Ortega's up there. After Ortega, I think he's the best backup goalkeeper in the league. I just think he's really, really good. I think if you saw him week in, week out, and he got a consistent amount of game time, I think he'd be really good. I think he could go to a lot of the Premier League teams and be their number one. And one of those teams who seem to be interested in him is a certain Wolverhampton Wanderers, which, you know, I've never said Wolverhampton Wanderers in my life. I've always called it Wolves. But BBC have put Wolverhampton Wanderers, so here we are. Well, BBC are saying Wolves are looking into a potential deal for Republic of Ireland goalkeeper Kelleher, who wants to leave Liverpool and will be able to match their Premier League rivals' asking price of about 20 mil, unlike the fellow suitors Celtic. Now, he is Irish, and Celtic have just lost Joe Hart to retirement. However, Celtic are stating that they wouldn't be able to reach the asking price of 20 million. Apparently, Celtic have stated that they would love to sign Kelleher, which of course they would. However, they have told Liverpool that they cannot go beyond a £10 million fee, and I'm so sorry, Celtic, but I'm not having that. I am squeezing every little bit of cent out of all of these football clubs who are coming in for our players, because I'm trying to buy really good players here. Ramsdale cost Arsenal 50 mil, did he? Because if so, that lad's not 30 then. He's more than that. You'll Never Walk Alone says, I'd demand 30 mil. I would too. A minimum of that, to be honest. Jose Sarbi on his way out then. I don't know. They lost Rui Patricio, didn't they? I think he went to Roma, and I don't know where he is now. But Jose Sarbi's a sound goalkeeper. I'm biased, aren't I, because I'm from Liverpool, so I'm obviously going to say that Kelleher is better. Kelleher is worth £30. Yes, like 30 million minimum, easy. I do agree. I really would hate to lose him, mainly because Alisson might be one of the most injury-prone goalkeepers that there are. Like, I love the man. He is the best goalkeeper in the world. But it's hard for me to look at next season and not picture an Alisson injury where he's out for 4 to 6 weeks. Like, in my head, I am bracing myself for that. And if Adrian is coming in for those 4 to 6 weeks, I don't feel as safe as I would if it was Kelleher. But yeah, I definitely think he will leave this summer. He deserves to. He wants to go and make himself a number one. I'm not sure that Liverpool would put a buyback fee in there. I don't think they would, because of his age now. He's around 25. But what I will say is that the lad's been incredible for us, and he deserves to go and play first team somewhere. He deserves to go and win trophies as well, because who knows, the teams I'm looking at him going to could go on a mad FA Cup run or a Carabao Cup run and go and win those trophies, and he deserves to be the main man in a team, that's for sure. And I would be sad to let Kelleher go, as would a lot of yous, but it is what it is, and he deserves to go. We should get James Trafford in simple. That is a name that has been linked with us. Who knows? Who knows though who we really sign? Adrian is nowhere near good enough to be our second choice keeper. I agree with that. Look, he came in when we won the title, and he was all right then. That Atletico Madrid game still haunts me. However, I will not lie to you. I'd say 18 mil at least, says Michael. It's really specific, that, isn't it? Kelleher is overrated by own fans. I don't know, you know, mate. For a lad who is behind Alisson Becker and hardly gets a run of games, he was not great last season when he was called upon and he was rusty. This season, lad, I mean, that save by Cole Palmer and Conor Gallagher in the Carabao Cup final won us a Carabao Cup. He did it in 2022. He won us a Carabao Cup. He's got some experience there. He's won titles. He's got Liverpool over the line in games. And you've got to remember, our defence this season has been absolutely horrific. And Alisson at times has saved us. And when Kelleher came in, a couple of those games, he didn't deserve to concede, but our team was just absolutely abysmal at defending. So yeah, for me, 50 to 60, wow, we're going up here. There's contrast and things. I would definitely sell him. I'd be looking at 30 mil. Liverpool have price tagged it at 20 mil. We clearly have gave a price tag. Wolves are looking and would be able to spend 20 mil. Celtic are also on the radar for him. Would only be able to pay 10 mil, and that's why I don't see him going to Celtic, no matter how much they adore the lad. I'm here for money. It's a business, sadly. Anyway, let's move on to our next one. And this one, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit excited by, and it's not necessary. Don't worry, we're not gonna go all three of these. I've just made a little list. I'll get the really good, interesting ones out. The next one is, I'm not going to say his first name. I ain't got a clue. I don't know how to pronounce it. Summerville from Leeds, who we've seen a couple of times in the Prem when they were in the Prem. And last season he was, I think it was Player of the Year in the Championship. He had a very, very, very good season, to be fair to him. 22 years of age. He's lit the Championship alight. He's done it fairly well in the Premier League when he was given the chance. I remember in COVID, I'm pretty sure I saw him there when Salah scored an absolute banger. But last season he scored 19 goals in 43 games. That doesn't sound a lot. It doesn't. But for a 22-year-old winger, look, it's something to most definitely build on. He was named the division's player of the season as Leeds, obviously. Missed out on going up. What can you say about that? He didn't show up in the final. That's what I will say. Playoff final. He was nowhere to be seen. But according to the Mirror, the Reds are targeting a £30 million deal for the Dutchman. And look, Dutchman links on a slot. We've got a lovely little Dutch contingent at our disposal right now. And this feels right to me. And I don't know why, but basically Leeds are saying they are braced for bids, and Liverpool are obviously one of those. I am going to put it in I could see it. And here's my thing, right? Someone can tell me what you think, and if I'm just being stupid. It just screams an FSG Michael Edwards kind of buy. And sadly, I've got to be realistic. I would love to go and spend stupid money on a ready-made, unbelievable, world-class player who can come in and instantly just make us unbelievable. Well, even more unbelievable than we're not unbelievable. We're getting there. I don't think Summerville will do that straight away. I think in rotation, he'll be really good. The most important thing about Summerville here, and a lot of people will probably be like, why are we going on about a left winger? He can also play right wing as well. And that is a position that Liverpool desperately need. Because Mo Salah is, in his 30s now. Who knows if he'll sign a new contract? I hope he does, because we can't lose him. But ultimately, this lad being able to cover Mo Salah when Mo Salah can't go every game is vitally important. He can also cover that left-hand side. And yeah, it just seems like a Liverpool type of signing. Someone who you can get in the sweet spot between 20 to 35 million pounds, where Liverpool will make them better. We saw it with Mane, we saw it with Salah. They come in for, you know, a decent fee at the time. Right now, 25-30 million for a player like Summerville actually seems a really decent buy. It seems really low risk. If it doesn't work out for them, it's not like you've spent 80 mil on a player and no one's going to pay an asking price anywhere near that. It's 25 to 30 mil. He might be really good for us. The worst case scenario is he's got Premier League experience. He's put on a red shirt. I'm sorry, but Ben Davies got sold for like 5 mil just because he'd been photographed in a Liverpool shirt. That is all the evidence you need to see. This is a very low risk buy for FSG. It just is. And I know people might not like to speak about the way we do our business. However, if I'm being realistic, that is the way we see it, and I think this is a buy that Liverpool will be interested in. Liverpool and Chelsea are showing concrete interest in Summerville and have been monitoring the player, according to Fabrizio Romano. Talks are expected to kick off soon. Once again, I'm sick and tired of seeing Chelsea and us go for a player. Could they leave us alone, please? In fact, actually, they've done us 2 favours there, because Lavia wasn't available at any point this season. And Caicedo did well towards the end, but the majority was not worth 115 million or whatever it was. But someone's just said he broke Virgil's Anfield record. I mean, if he did, that's great. Thank you. That didn't make me feel bad at all. 25 or 15 and Nat Phillips. Are we exchanging players here? I wouldn't be against that. Like, I don't think they'd see Nat Phillips as I'd see him as a 12 million pound player. No, I wouldn't. I'd see him more at 7 now. And 12 million years ago. Now without him playing, not so much. Theo has said Vert. I would love the lad, but I don't think he's anywhere close to signing for Liverpool. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. So I think 100% Liverpool should be interested in Summerville. Like we mentioned, he can play left wing, he can play right wing. He's 22 years of age. He's done it in the Premier League a little bit before. He's got so much room to grow. There's a big question mark over the front three, and if we lose a player in that front three. But ultimately, I think Liverpool should be really, really interested in looking at Summerville, especially if the price tag is between 25 to 30 mil, which Fabrizio Romano has said it is. And he's also said that talks are expected soon between us, Chelsea and Leeds. It'd be one that I think would be an added bonus. He does predominantly play left wing, but he can play right wing as well, which is really important. But we'll do one more before we wrap up this lovely little start to the show. And I'm going to go with... We've got 2 new players, so we'll go with 2 old players. Now, the next player, I don't know whether you've seen... Maldini Phillips and 30 mil, that lad, yeah. I'll do that. I'm all for that. I don't know half of these words. All I can read is Summerville and Gertrude. I do like Gertrude, I won't lie. The one in the middle, no idea how to pronounce that. Really do apologise. Why not go back in for Rodrigo? We'll have too many forwards. He came out this week and said he's not leaving at all. That's probably why. He's not leaving that football club. No. He does not want it at all. So yeah, Summerville will surprise you guys. I was unsure about Mane, but I ate my words. I'm all for this. I wouldn't mind this. Seems low risk, seems interesting. Anyway, the last player I'm going to speak about is Sepp van den Berg. Remember him? Now, this one is a little bit controversial due to his recent words. When he first came in to Liverpool, thought it was a sound buy, young lad, go out and develop, learn the ropes, potentially come back and be a decent option for Liverpool. He's gone and done the majority of that. He's came back in the summer. and my word, does he not want to be a part of Liverpool Football Club. Sepp Berg seems like he just doesn't want to be a part of us. I won't lie to you. Everyone's just saying out. Yeah. Okay, fair enough. I agree. But Sepp Berg, I do have to say, I would be a little bit... I'd just be a little bit sad to see him go for the main reason of he went to Mainz, had a great season, according to all of the German journalists, and he's Dutch. Arne Slot's Dutch. I really would like to see what he's about in pre-season. I'm not saying that he's going to come in and be better than Konsa, because I really don't see that happening at all. But what I will say is that, you know, at the moment we do need another centre-back option. And I just want to see what Sepp Berg is about. But Sepp Berg recently told Mail Sport, well, his quotes were to I'm going to say, the Telegraph. That is who it was with. Sepp Berg wants to leave Liverpool and isn't happy with the asking price Liverpool have set. He said, "Yous haven't radiated confidence in me," that is Liverpool, "all this time, but you now want to hinder my future. I want to keep playing every week and develop myself further. Dutch and German clubs are interested, and Wolfsburg appear to be the front runners early on for acquiring Sepp Berg." Now, I don't know whether to put it in here or whether to put it in here. I think it all depends on what happens in pre-season and if Arne Slot is going to speak to the lad. If he's going to speak to anyone, actually, in our group of players. We've got JD saying, "I would love him to get the chance in the first team, but it sounds like he really, really wants away." And that's the problem. I don't like... You know the no dickhead policy? Yeah, you coming straight out into the newspaper. And Liverpool have put a 20 mil buyout asking price on him. But he's just played, we'll get his stats up at Mainz up in a minute, but he's just played a full season in the Bundesliga here. Like, you know, Liverpool aren't cheapskates. We've got Michael Edwards here at the helm with a buy-to-sell kind of club, sadly, Sepp. You might have missed that whilst we're away. But we're not going to let you go for cheap. There was rumours that he could go for 5 million because there was a clause in his contract. Apparently that was a load of crap. And here's the thing, when you come out and start basically saying that the club haven't had any confidence in you and how they're now trying to hinder your future, it is not a good look. I would have really liked it if he'd have just been a little bit more respectful. I can understand he's had a great season and wants to go and explore, but could we just see what you're all about? We've got a brand new manager here who's Dutch. He might like you. Could we not just see what you're about in pre-season? I would really like to at least keep hold of him until the end of pre-season. And look, here's where the problems come for Liverpool, because the longer into the transfer window you get, the more his asking price then comes down. Because, you know, clearly Liverpool have looked at him in pre-season and not really liked him. And I can understand this anger, but at the same time, like, this is your chance, lad, to actually go and put yourself in Liverpool's side. And not the first 11, but you could be a squad player. Quansah made himself a squad player, and all of a sudden, he's kicked Ibu Konate out the team. And next season, I imagine he'd start over Konate. That's where I am right now. And he did that because he went from, I think it was Bristol, weren't it? And he just came back and he got his head down and he just tried his best. And there are chances at Liverpool. There are chances for the youngsters to come in. We've seen that, and I just think it's a little bit sad that he's came out and basically spoke about the club in such a way. And look, I get it, but you know, it is what it is. This is Anfield has said Brentford and newly promoted side Southampton are amongst the clubs thought to be keen on signing the 22-year-old. Once again, 22 years old. Like, he's got such a future ahead of him. If he could just maybe give us an extra year to see what he's about, that'd be great. But it is understood that Liverpool will wait before making a decision on whether he has moved on. Slot is keen to look at this compatriot in the pre-season, so it's great. At least Liverpool aren't backing down from this. I'm pretty sure he's not going to... he's not going to make the starting 11 like right now. That's not a thing, but he could be a part of the team. Anyway, let's look at his stats from last season. He played 33 games in the Bundesliga, scoring 3 goals for Mainz. They all came at centre-back, that is correct. And then he also played 2 games in the Pokal, and I've got I don't know how to pronounce that weird U. So I'm just going to say he played 2,940 minutes, and aside from a yellow card suspension, look at that, injury-free, and that is what I like to hear, because, look, I love Joe Gomez, I love Ibu Konate, but both of them can pick up injuries. Joe Gomez actually should be given a lot of praise for how available he was last season. But what I will say is that you can't rely on Ibu Konate, and if Joe Gomez has to play even more games, and you're also using him as a versatile player, then he might be needed a lot more. So I think what Sepp van den Berg should do is maybe just hold off, apologise and say, look lads, I was just a little bit frustrated, because that sounds, because Southampton and Brentford won't really go away. They'll still be interested in you in 2 weeks' time. You going on holiday, calming down and coming back for a little bit of pre-season and just getting yourself back into shape, all of that's not going to do you any harm really, unless you played absolutely horrific. But I don't understand why. Like, I get it, he wants to leave, but at the same time, it's up to Liverpool, and he's emerged as a decent centre-half this season in the Bundesliga for a team that, you know, aren't exceptional. So I think he should just hold off. He is right-footed, so that doesn't help us out with the left-sided centre-back situation, I'm not going to lie. But his contract from Liverpool doesn't expire until 2026. So really, you know, next season, if you were to sell him, it'd be for a lot less price, because he's only got a year left on his contract. However, I would like to have a look at Sepp van den Berg. What do you all think of Sepp van den Berg? Now sell him with a sell on. He doesn't want to play for us, it's clear after his words. Sold. I get that. I really. I mean, Brett has just decided to start rating players I've not even got on my board. I absolutely appreciate that. I also rate Kudos. Ooh, higher than Elise and Eze. Okay, I can see it. The only thing, right, yeah, and not to be that person, but AFCON, I already don't have Salah for a lot of AFCON. If I lost another player, like, you know, when we lose Sadio Mane and Mo Salah to AFCON, and I'd feel like my world had ended, because somehow you had to stay in a title race against Manchester City whilst having 2 of your best players out. Yeah, that's the only thing I would say about that, is that I kind of dislike that. I understand why they like their countries. I totally respect it. But still, Sepp doing a Sancho, yeah, well, you know. Maybe he's not the one for us then. Chloe, how about Willie Gnotto? He nearly went to Everton. He tried to force a move to Everton last summer. Yeah, last summer. Maybe in the December window, actually. In the winter transfer window. Either way, he tried to force his way out of Leeds, and Leeds didn't let him. You would imagine that Leeds will have to sell one of Summerville and Willie Gnotto. Willie Gnotto, I haven't seen any links with us, but he is maybe a player that Liverpool should look at. I would still be more interested in Summerville. Willie Gnotto, I mean, tried to force his way to Everton, so maybe I've got blurred lines there. But yeah, you know. Thoughts on rumours about Mbeumo and Gordon? I wouldn't spend 100 mil on Gordon, but I do like Gordon. And I hate to say it, because he played for Everton, and he's one of those players that, like, you know how Bruno Fernandes is a proper weapon, and like, I can't stand them. Gordon's a little bit like that, but actually, the more I watch him, the more I think, yeah, but if he did that for you, you'd absolutely love him. So I like him as a footballer. I think he's really good. Newcastle will have to sell one of their big boys, but I don't think they'll be selling Gordon. I do think he's a good footballer. Would not spend 100 mil. And Mbeumo is all right. I like him, don't get me wrong. I'm interested in a couple more players who we'll get through on next week's. But yeah, I don't mind Mbeumo. I'd like the other one, Gordon, more than him, but I would not be paying 100 mil. And also, I just don't have the facilities for 100 mil on a Anthony Gordon, believe it or not. I've got other fish to be frying right now. Fabio Carvalho, keep, loan or sell? For me, I'd sell. I would keep for 1 season. If Arne Slot plays the 4-2-3-1, I am really interested in how Carvalho would play in that number 10 position. When he played for Liverpool, he started off decent, he got that goal against Newcastle, but we played him either on the left wing or as an 8. We played him in an 8 position against Everton at Goodison alongside Harvey Elliott. We didn't really use him to the best of his ability. Then he went to Leipzig and he played him on the wing again. He doesn't have enough pace for me on that left-hand side. He's gone to Hull. He's playing more that attacking midfielder and he's done really good there. Is he just a championship player? I don't know. He might be. But I'd like to see that if Arne Slot does go to this 4-2-3-1, I'd like to see what he's about in pre-season. For me, this pre-season is actually about seeing, even the players who I probably would have wanted to sell, I want to give them the benefit of the doubt, because if we're playing a new system, there might be better positions for them to play and they might be able to grow and develop into those positions. So I would like to see what Arne Slot, what his team looks like in pre-season and who is the best adapted for those positions. So I might sell him at the end of the transfer window, but right now I'm interested to see what he's all about. But yeah, keep Carvalho there. Gordon got a yellow for diving in the derby. Well. Yeah, he's one of them, isn't he? Anyway, thank you so much. I've got no idea what just happened at Toffee TV. It sounded like someone did just die. But you know, who has a clue? Anyway, thanks so much for joining me for this Rumour Rater. Don't worry, I've got loads more stories for next week. And yeah, there'll be some names in there that you've already mentioned. But thanks so much for joining us. Nailed on. We'll be back, don't worry. He wasn't gone for long. He'll be back for the next show. But until the next one, up the Reds.